Stigma, ovaries, and a style.
Saw it in your notebook.
Yes.
Stigma, style, and ovary. Right? And inside the ovary, the ovules are present, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the, okay, what is the male reproductive unit of the flower?
Um,
Please don't look at your notebook. Look at me.
the male part,
Hmm.
stamen.
Starts with an, very good, stamen. What are the two parts of stamen?
Uh,
You know it. It's okay. You just can't recall it.
anther and filament.
Anther and filament. Very good. Okay. Now tell me, what is the name of that kind of a flower wherein one flower would produce? No, that's not for your syllabus. Okay. Tell me, what are the two types of pollination? What is pollination? First, tell me this.
Self-pollination and cross-pollination.
What is pollination?
Pollination means the
Hmm.
transfer of
Hmm.
pollen grains from the
Hmm.
male reproductive organ to the female reproductive.
Transfer of pollen grains from the anther where it is made, right? The
Yes,
pollen
ma'am.
grains are made inside the anther. So
To
the
the stigma.
transfer, yeah, very good, to the stigma. Now, what are those agents that cause pollination?
Biotic and abiotic agency.
Yeah, what do you call the agents? Like, there's a name that those agents have. Pollinators,
Ah,
right? Pollinators. The agents that bring about pollination, they are called as pollinators. This is the diagram that you have drawn last. This one.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us see how the process of this gamete transfer and the fusion happens. So what happens is that after the pollination has been done, meaning the pollen grain is landed on the stigma. Right? So the first thing that will happen is the pollen grain lands on the stigma. Then pollen tube grows. This is the pollen grain, and from it a tube-like structure would grow, which we call as pollen tube. And this process of the growth of the pollen tube, it is called as pollen germination. Now, what will happen? Like through this tube, the male gamete would travel to the female germ cell, that is the egg. This is the female gamete, and the egg is present inside the ovule, right? So the male gamete would travel to the female gamete. The male gamete, after reaching the female gamete, it will fuse with the female gamete and it will form the zygote. This fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete is called as fertilization. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Do I look like sir to you? So tell me one thing. The male gamete and the female gametes, they are haploid and the zygote is diploid. Why? Why are the gametes haploid in nature and why is the zygote diploid in? First, you tell me the difference between haploid and diploid.
And the haploid is
Hmm.
for the gametes, only is
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
half set of chromosomes.
One set of chromosomes. Very
I
good.
mean, one set.
Yes.
And diploid
Yes.
has two set of chromosomes.
Very good. So why does the gamete have half the set of chromosome?
And because in when they fuse together,
Huh.
it will
Yes.
go like when they
Very
fuse
good.
together, it will be two sets of chromosomes.
Yeah. But when they fuse together, what is the structure that they form?
Zygote.
Yes. Zygote. And zygote is diploid. And the parent cell is haploid or diploid? Parent cell, like the parent plant. Haploid or diploid?
Diploid.
Very good. So, in order to restore the number of chromosomes, the male and the female gametes, they are haploid in nature, and when they fuse, a diploid zygote is formed. And this process wherein the male gamete fuses with the female gamete, we call it as fertilization. Now, after that, like up until now, like the point wherein the fertilization is taking place, we'll say that this is the fertilization event. Then comes the post-fertilization event. Post means the like things that are happening after the fertilization has been done. Now the zygote, which was diploid structure that was formed, it'll start to divide and it will form the embryo inside the ovule only. All of these activities will be happening inside the ovule. So the zygote divides to form the embryo inside the ovule. Now remember that, like for example, you have eaten mango.
Yes, ma'am.
So like when you eat the mango, there is a fleshy part that you consume, and then
Yes,
there
ma'am.
is the seed which you throw away, isn't it? Do you eat the
Yes, ma'am.
seed also?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. I thought maybe. So the fruit that we eat, right? It is a ripened ovary of the flower. Meaning this ovary that is present inside the female reproductive part of the flower, when after like during the process of reproduction, when fertilization has been done, this ovary starts to mature, okay, ripen, and it ripens to become a fruit, and the seed that we have inside the fruit, that is the ovule. So the ovule would mature into the seed and the ovary matures into the fruit. And remember that you might have seen that the seeds, they have a very thick outer layer, right? It has a very thick coating because uh, uh, that seed only is used to plant another plant, isn't it? That seed has the potential to make like give rise to another plant. So the ovule is present inside the ovary, meaning the seed is present inside the fruit. Now, after the fertilization has been done, then what will happen? The petals, the sepals, the stamen, and the style, all of these structures that were there, meaning the accessory structures and the reproductive structures, they fall off because now it's no more needed. Meaning the reproduction has been completed. Now the sepals, petals, stamen, style, these are not needed anymore. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, seed germination. What happens is that that seed that we have inside all of the fruits, right? Most of the seeds that are there, we can use that seed to plant a new plant, isn't it? To like sow the new plant. Now, the development of a seedling, like for example, if this is the seed, when you like put it under the soil and you water it and all of the things, then slowly, a twig starts to come out. Have you ever planted a seed?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen a tiny little leaf would arise? Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Tiny. And then it will grow to the whole entire big. So this development
Yes.
of the seed from the, this development of the seedling, which is a tiny plant, tiny sapling from the seed is called as seed germination. Meaning it got germinated and give rise to the new plant. And always remember that this seed germination always takes place under appropriate conditions. Appropriate condition means that it will take place under optimum temperature. Do you know the meaning of optimum?
No, ma'am.
I'll tell you. Optimum temperature, pH, then water. See, optimum means the perfect. The perfect temperature, the perfect pH, meaning however much the seed requires. Every seed has a different kind of requirement. So accordingly to that, the optimum conditions change from seed to seed. Okay, so depending upon the optimum condition or the appropriate condition, when those will arise, then only the seed germination would happen, or else it will not. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, since we are studying the reproduction in the case of flowering plants, so like the flowering plants have been further divided into two types, that is dicot and monocot. Okay. Now, have you ever seen kidney beans, rajma?
Yes.
Right. So if I give you the rajma and if I ask you to split it open into two, like to halve it, right? Will you be able to do it?
No, ma'am.
Eh? Why?
From the seed.
Yeah, like for example, you have boiled the rajma and now you have
Mhm.
a boiled rajma. Now it has an outer covering, right? If you remove
Yes, ma'am.
that, so wouldn't it be in two halves?
Yes, ma'am.
Or chana? Have you eaten chana?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so if you just like if you try to split the chana into two parts, you'll be able to do that, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But if I like, have you ever seen the rice seed?
Dry.
Hmm? Dry, yeah, obviously dry. Have you
Yes,
seen it?
ma'am.
Now, if I ask you to split that open into two, will you be able to do that?
No.
No, you won't. So, all those plants in which the seeds can be separated into two, right? And each of those two separated structures, they are cotyledons. So, those plants that have two cotyledons, they are known as dicots. And those plants that have one cotyledon, they are known as monocot. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, see, inside the seed, what happens is that, like, for example, if this is a dicot seed, so there is a structure which is called as a plumule inside the seed. Like cotyledons are there, and then it has a structure called as plumule. And this plumule, during the seed germination, this will give rise to the shoot or the stem of the plant. And then there is the radicle, and this radicle will give rise to the root of the plant. Got it?
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
always remember, plumule gives rise to the shoot or the stem, radicle gives rise to the root. If you have any like difficulty in remembering this, like which one give rise to what, always remember that root starts with an R, radical starts with an R. So R together, and the left one is for the stem. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, did you draw this diagram in the previous class, the flower one? This one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you have to write down from here, right? Okay, now you can note it down.
Ma'am, can you scroll down? Ma'am,
Yes.
how there's 22 pairs, no, 23 pairs of chromosomes, right?
In us, in humans.
So two sets means one set is.
Like one set is 23, another set is 23. So all in all, we have 46.
Hmm. Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
just like that, every organism has different sets of chromosomes. Like some have 8 pairs, some have like 20 pairs, 16 pairs. That varies from organism to organism. Human beings have 23 pairs. So one set of 23 is one set of chromosome. Another set of 23 is one more set of chromosomes. So 23 plus 23, we have two sets of chromosome, which makes 46 chromosomes in total. Got it?
Ma'am, all the other cells have 46, right?
Hmm?
All the other cells have 46, right?
All cells in our body, like we have 46 chromosomes. Okay.
Ma'am,
And the
except with um,
except,
reproductive organ.
yeah, very good. In the reproductive organ, the like the gametes, they can either have like they have 22, but like they either have X or they have Y. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you scroll? Ma'am, can you scroll? Ma'am, I should draw this, right?
Yes. Just for that, so that you remember.
Yes. Done, ma'am.
Any doubts? Anything you want to ask me?
No, ma'am.
All right. Now let us move forward and talk about the reproduction in humans. So up until now, we have discussed sexual reproduction. We have discussed the sexual reproduction in plants. We have discussed asexual reproduction. And now we'll move on to the reproduction in the case of human beings. Right? Now let us see. So in the case of human beings, what happens that in general, like not just in human beings, but in general in organisms, there are two types of body cells. Okay. The first kind of body cell is the somatic cell. Somatic cells means all the cells that are there in the body except for the ones that participate in reproduction. So all the cells will be considered as the somatic cells. Then those cells that are concerned with the reproduction, that are involved in the reproduction, so we'll call them as the germ cells, like sperm and ova. Right? In the case of humans, there is the sperm, which is the male germ cell or the male gamete, the ova, which is the female gamete. So in our body, in every human's body, there are two types of cells present: somatic cells or the germ cells. Now the somatic cells, like I told you, it will be the normal body cells, meaning the cells of a hand, the cells of our skin, and all of that. But the cells that are responsible for making the gametes or the gametes, they are the germ cells, like the sperm and the ova. Now, the somatic cells, they are diploid because we are diploid, right? Our body is diploid. But talking about the germ cells, so it is haploid. Again, the question comes why? So it is haploid to maintain the ploidy level in the offspring. For example, if the parent was diploid, then the offspring must also be diploid. So in order to maintain that or in order to restore that, the gametes, they are haploid, just like the answer that you told me. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Okay, wait. So this part is not there. Secondary sexual characters. Okay, I'll discuss it later on. But for now, the introductory part is clear to you. What kind of cells
Yes,
are
ma'am.
there in our body? Now, see, just like how the flower also had a female reproductive structure, the male reproductive structure, same way the humans would also have that. Okay. And that we are like going to discuss in depth, like what are the parts of the male reproductive system, how the gametes are formed, how the gametes are transferred, and everything about that. Okay. First, you know, down till here, then we'll move forward.
Done, ma'am.
All right. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Shazil. So let's just keep it till here only. And in the next class, we'll discuss more about it. Okay. And in the meantime, you keep on studying, you keep on revising the parts that have already been done, like asexual reproduction, then reproduction in flowers. So you keep on revising that because you'll forget it. Okay. And then we'll
Yes,
continue.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. I'll see you in the next class.